And welcome back to Warrior Lunch Break here on HBC TV 25. We'll now talk baseball with head coach Kyle Poock. And the Warriors are in the midst of a winning streak right now. The last time that we talked to you, Coach, you were on a bus in Marshall getting ready to play Southwest Minnesota State. It was probably a windy day, as we said. That's usually the way things are in Marshall. But it was kind of a crazy game. You win that one 9-7. Tell us a little bit about that game.
Well, that was one. It kind of went back and forth and stuff early, and they got a lead, and then we caught up and tied it, and then they again. And it was the day before were 2-1 games. We pitched very well, and even though the score was 9-7, it was a good pitched game. Just the hitters came out. There was not a lot of walks and stuff like that. If I remember right. So none of the free bases that we've been trying to eliminate. So it was just a good pitched game. But every time they scored, we answered, and then we just had enough at the end to hold on. And I believe Nick Carroll came in again and closed the door on him, and that was it. We walked away with the 3-game sweep.
Yeah, you ended up, I believe, according to the wrap-up, going through 5 pitchers in the game, but the bullpen really did hold things down and really give you a chance to get that win.
Yeah, we ran a couple guys out there, inning at a time for those guys, and they come in, did their job, got their 3 outs, didn't give any numbers up, and so it was a good day for those guys as well.
I know we talk about, kind of the same players over and over again, but I mean, really, they are the guys that are your go-to guys. And to bring up Sam Conley one more time, 3 for 5 in RBI. He had a walk, scored a run in that game. And then you had 4 other guys that had 2 hits during that game. So, I mean, the bats really came alive and are playing well at really a pivotal point in the season.
Yeah, exactly. We're hopefully, I don't want to jinx it, we're getting on a little bit of a roll here as we go on into, we got 15 conference games left. So getting the right things. We're getting a little bit healthier. We still got some guys with some tweaks and stuff. So play them a game and then rest them a game until they get full 100%. But the guys that we've been playing in their places have been doing a good job. Joey Erke's been doing a great job for us at second base while Zach Stain's trying to recover fully 100%. And we've had a couple of young freshmen, Austin Byers, playing some good defense and giving us a timely hit here and there at shortstop for Derek Martin. But hopefully now those 2 guys with the week off, because we had the weekend off, that they should be almost 100%.
All right.
So then we'll count on those guys off the bench in key areas, key times.
Absolutely. Sorry to interrupt there. I wanted to go back to Sam Conley just a moment because in the first segment when we were talking softball, we were going over some of the milestones and kind of records that are close. Sam is now 10th all-time on the Winona State hit list with 207 hits. As we said, the record is 230. I don't know. It's kind of close. He's got to go on kind of a roll to get there. But he could definitely get close to 5th place, which is 225. He also is very close to the all-time singles record. He has 168 singles. Tony Mueller holds that record at 171, so that's certainly well within reach, possibly even this week.
Yeah, that could be that could be, and that's the thing. We joke again. We talk about again the extra base hits for Sam, but he's just a steady hitter. He's going to do his job. He's going to get the bat on the ball and put it in play somewhere, and he doesn't worry about. It's a good thing he's not a major leaguer because he's not looking for home runs, and that's the thing they're looking now. But we keep talking, preaching to all the guys. Middle of the ball, middle of the field, hit it hard, take what you get.
All right. Let's talk about then the other games that you played, which were against Minot. And when we left you last week, we didn't know exactly what was going to happen. It ended up those games were played in Winona, and thankfully so, because it was a little bit warmer anyway. And in the first game, you get Cameron Kramer playing pitching a great game, just threw a 1-hitter in that game. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, he's actually worked his way and emerged probably as our number 1 now. He's a guy that not overpowering velocity, but he's got 3 pitches. He can throw for strikes. He can throw them anytime in the count. Gets strikeouts, but he's more of a contact pitcher, and guys don't get good swings on him. It's one of those things, but he's doing a great job. Keeping us in games, and then fortunately that game I think we scored 12. So he kind of cruised then after the first couple innings after we got some runs for him.
So tell us a little bit while we have some time to talk here. I mean, what happens for you guys when there's a no-hitter going on? I know there's a lot of superstition around baseball. Do you talk about things? Do you not talk about things? Do players leave him alone? What happens for you guys when something like this is going on?
Well, we kind of know what's going on because honestly, I'm not a big guy in superstitions in baseball, so I'm talking about it. I'm talking, well, how many pitches has he got? Okay, well, we're still in good pitch count because we're always trying to watch that type of thing, so we don't. And once he gave up the hit, then we want to give him the chance for the no hitter if at all possible. Plus, he was throwing the 7-inning game, which makes it a lot easier. Mm-hmm. But once we got to that point where I think he gave up a hit in the 6th, then we made the decision to pull him out of the game because he was around 90-some with his pitches, which isn't a lot for him, but we want to make sure he's fresh and ready for the rest of the year. If he would have kept going with a no-hitter, we would probably ran him out there, probably a max of 120. But we're trying to save arms and take care of arms and make sure that we have them for later in the year. But yeah, I know a lot of people. I think most of our dugout, they weren't saying much. But when I was talking with Coach Riley about this and stuff, he's got the no-hitter, so we got to keep going until that. But maybe I jinxed it. I don't know, but I don't believe in those superstitions.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about pitch count since you brought it up. You said you possibly max of 120. If a pitcher goes that kind of distance, then do you hold him back a little bit after that start, or how does pitch count basically determine where they are in the rotation, and if you give them a couple extra days?
Yeah. Well, we don't really have to give extra days because our guys with our 5-man rotation, they're usually a week away from when they pitch, unless we get some cancellations and move forward or backward. But like if you're like that, he was last week Wednesday with Minot, so tentatively he wouldn't pitch till tomorrow. But we've switched a little things, so he's not going to pitch until Saturday now.
Okay.
But we don't have to watch that much. We just probably the next day be a little bit lighter with their workout before they get back into preparing for their next start. But we just want to make sure that we're taking care of their arms for them.
Okay. Then let's go to game 2 in the series against Minot. This was a 5-2 win. And again, great starting pitching performance, this time from Bailey. And then Nick Harold comes in at the end to strike out 6 batters in 2 full innings. So, all
Yep.
6 batters that he faces. Tell me about that game.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that we struck out 19 guys that game. Bailey had 13, and then Nick had 6. Again, they just did a really good job pounding the strike zone and getting after it. And I watched Minot take BP, and they've been swinging the bats pretty well this year. But I think they saw our right field wall, and they had guys just trying to hit balls after ball after ball over that wall. And I don't think that helped them in the game. So I think they got a little bit out of their normal plan and stuff. So, but both give Bailey and Nick credit. They did a great job. They didn't get behind many hitters, and they came right at them and attacked them. And when you're throwing strikes and getting ahead, it makes it a lot easier.
I know you don't necessarily like to know where you are in the standings, so if you want to plug your ears while I talk about that, you can go ahead and do that. But right now you are 5th in the NSIC as the playoffs loom. Again, top 8 teams get into the NSIC playoffs, and your upcoming schedule is difficult, but it's also all the teams that are kind of in the mix are what you have coming up, because really I think there are only maybe 2 teams that are really out of contention. I think it's Duluth and maybe it's Bemidji. I'm not exactly sure.
Bemidji and Duluth, yeah.
Yeah, there are the 2 teams that really don't have a chance, but the other ones do. How do you approach the schedule knowing that all these teams are kind of in the mix?
Well, like we've always said, we just kind of control what we can control, and that's the next game. And we're going to work at that. And tomorrow we're worried about game 1 at Wayne. Mm-hmm. And once that one gets done, I know it's a little old cliche and people think, well, that's what we've always done. We've always preached. We're only as good as our next game. We're only as good as our next at-bat. We're only as good as our next pitch. We're only as good as the next ball that's hit to us if we make the play. So we're really focusing on that. And if we do what we're supposed to be doing and execute and focus, we'll be there in the end and hopefully have a shot, and we'll stay 5th or higher, hopefully, and get a chance to get in the conference tournament and see what happens.
All right, and of course everybody is kind of chasing Minnesota State, who is nationally ranked. I think they're at number 25 this week. Tell us a little. I mean, I know you don't. You just said you're taking one game at a time. But does that loom on you that they're coming up as the last games that you play of the season, of the regular season?
Well, we've had them for the last weekend. I don't know how many years in a row. I don't know if the conference does it on purpose or not. But yeah, we're always excited to play them. They're way back in the day when I played, they were our rival. Then they left the league, but we kept playing them non-conference, and we'd always have good series with them. Some years they sweep us, some years we sweep them, some years we split. It's been a good series all along and stuff. So it's always good, and to play a team at the end of the year that is really good is good too. Especially if going into that you are going to be in the playoffs. Well, you want to play good teams to make sure you're doing what you're doing to stay on top of your game.
All right, coming up this week, as you said, you're heading off to Wayne as soon as we're done with the show here, and then you play Augustana this weekend, and it's kind of a special weekend because it's your alumni weekend this weekend.
Yeah, yep, it's a big alumni weekend. We have a new baseball players association, so it's going to be hopefully a chance for them. Last year we got canceled. We didn't get to have that first big alumni weekend. Our alumni office, which is doing a much better job, they're involved and they're getting things out. They try to get people contacted. Plus, we're going to try to recognize our 2011 team that went to the World Series. So it's a big weekend there. So if any alumni, if you see this and you're looking to get a hold of our alumni office, because you have to, if you want to be inside the fence, you have to register and get on a pass list. If you're fine sitting outside the fence, then it's not a big deal, but they would still like to know, because we're eventually probably going to recognize the 2011 team. Those members are here, and then any other alumni will probably, during the game, we'll read off their names, I think is what they're going to do in years they participated.
Boy, that is amazing that you bring up 2011, and it's 10 years on that already. I mean, I have great memories of going out to North Carolina with you guys and watching those games. It's amazing that that's 10 years already.
Yeah, I know. I said it went by so fast, it makes me feel old. Like I could have swore I was 35 when I did that. Now I'm 60, but it was only 10 years ago.
So you said some of those members, or how many members do you think will be back from that team?
We don't have a final number yet. The alumni office is going to let us know, and I said, well, we'll track that when we get back on Thursday, and in case we got to start reaching out to guys personally or whatever to see if they're going to be around and stuff. So, but not off the top of my head, I couldn't even tell you right now. So, but hopefully a lot of them are getting the information, and hopefully they're going to come back.
All right, we got about a minute or so left in the broadcast here, but Wayne and Augie this weekend, how do you feel you match up against those two teams?
Well, if we pitch, I think we'll do fine. Augie's been swinging the bats pretty well lately. They've always got good arms, but some teams are getting them. We don't have any team that's really running away with anything. You look at the scores after every series and weekend or midweek or whatever, and you're like, well, how did they win that game, or how did they get beat there? But our league is tough, so it's going to be. If we pitch, we'll be okay, and because we'll play good defense and we'll hit and stuff, but it just comes down to the pitching. So if they do the job, we'll be in them and we'll have a good chance to win some games.
All right, Coach Poock, appreciate the time and good luck this week.